Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. You know, one of the cool things about lawn care is it's kind of ever changing. New things are coming along, better ways of doing things, new products, all kind of things can happen in lawn care. There's not really dead set ways of doing things. There's so many different ways to achieve the same goal, but there are processes and things that happen in a yard that are pretty consistent from year to year. And one of those things is core aeration and overseeding in the fall for cool season turf grasses. Now let me say this right here. I've been doing this for a living for 16 years. Been doing the aeration and overseeding for about 15 of those years, and there's nobody in the country that is more dead set, gotta do it, no questions about it, going to aerate and overseed tall fescue every single year, no matter what. That's been me up until this year. Now, since I started all this online stuff, I've had the privilege to talk with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people through email conversations, some phone calls, social media groups and things like that. And the cool thing about me is I don't mind changing my philosophy if I see it will better what I'm doing. And after talking with all these folks and from all over the country and getting their take on fall lawn care, it's helped me to learn that I don't think aeration and overseeding is necessary for everybody. Whew. That took a lot for me to say that. I'm telling you, it took a lot for me to say that. Because you talking to a man that's got thousands of dollars of equipment, specialized overseeding things, and pluggers and aerovators and Ventrac and grasshopper and stinger and all kind of equipment that is specialized, that sits all year long until one time of the year and we get to use it when we aerate and seed. So that takes a lot for me to say you may not need to aerate and seed. And of course, if you've been watching my videos forever, you know that I push that hard in the fall. And so it may be a little shocker to you. You may have to sit down to hear that, but this is what's changing my mind on that. Now, if you're new, this is going to be a renovation area. We're going to come out with a Kentucky bluegrass blend in 2020. So I'm testing varieties of bluegrass. So pay no attention to that. That's for another video. But what I want you to look at is this. This right here is Kentucky bluegrass. Now you're going to see a white tint right here. Pay no attention to that. I sprayed some clearies on it today, but you can see over here I sprayed the other way, so you can't really see it right here, but you can see this bluegrass looks really good. It's actually quite surprising how good it looks. One of the characteristics of Kentucky bluegrass is it has the ability to spread, meaning it will creep and crawl and fill in areas. If you remember back in the spring, I had a video where I pulled up about 7 or 8 or 10 little clumps of Poa annua, and if you look and you noticed, none of those chunks are gone. Some of them were that big around, and look, I haven't put the first grass seed on it. By watering it correctly, mowing it correctly, feeding it correctly, it has filled in those gaps on its own. Now, tall fescue won't do that, okay? Tall fescue will not do that. I know they make those rhizonomous type fescues or whatever, but I've tried some of them and I ain't seen one rhizonomous yet. So I'm not completely convinced on that. Tall fescue is a clump type turf, and typically goes in a clump. You sow it thick. That's how you get that nice thick appearance. Kentucky bluegrass, oh yeah, here's your good shot. There's the line right there. Bluegrass, fescue. And again, I apologize for the white tinge on it. That clearies is a white color fungicide. Once I water it and mow it, that'll go away and she'll be blue-green again. And I mean, she's blue-green. So this is midnight Kentucky bluegrass, and it will not get aerated and overseeded. Why should I? I mean, look at it. It's thick and dense. It looks good. It's going to spread some more in the fall. It's going to spread some more when I feed it. No doubt it's going to get even thicker. So why aerate it? See, this turf right here has taught me something this year. It's taught me, and talking to a bunch of guys up north that have that stuff, who just dead set against aeration. Why do it? We don't need to. My yard looks great. And you're right. It does look great. Heck, I'm in a smoking hot environment growing that bluegrass right there, and it looks great. So I'm not going to overseed it. So that's kind of how it's all changed my mind. From talking to people, growing that bluegrass back there, and it honestly don't need it. Now look at this right here. This right here is turf type tall fescue, the GCI blend. It's got some midnight bluegrass mixed in it, and other than my little spots right here I've got to seed those obviously to fix them. But look at it. It's as thick and as dense as any turf grass I've ever seen anywhere. Since I've been living here, yes, I've aerated and overseeded it every single year religiously. I think I'm going to let my yard be a guinea pig this year to help me learn more. Maybe show someone out there that's, you know, kind of on the fence, should you do it or not. Maybe this will help you make your mind up. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to split the yard into 4 sections, okay? Right now I'm standing at the back of my property, or the back of my yard, and we're going to go from the center of the house straight back, straight line, and then continue that line through the house and all the way to the road in front of the house. So I'll have 4 sections, 1, 2, then the front yard, 3, 4. Now remember, you have to take the little bare spots out. Of course, I gotta fix them. There's no way in the world I'm gonna let that go another year. So the 2 non-aeration sections, we're going to apply a fall pre-emergent. Of course, we're not going to apply the pre-emergent to my bare spots, because you can't apply a pre-emergent because the grass seed won't come up. Yes, you can use tenacity, but I don't want to. I want to use something better than that for this application. And then the 2 areas that we do aeration in, core aeration, we'll plug them up normal, the whole 9 yards, seed them. And of course, the entire yard is going to get a starter fertilizer, and I'm going to be using the X-Start from Carbon Earth. Now, you know that this entire year I've run a Carbon X program on this yard. I've used higher bricks for 5 years on it and just been absolutely tickled silly with the results I get. And so are many people are sharing that same experience with me. But this year I ran a Carbon X program on it, so I'm going to continue that until January 1st. So it'll get X-Start over the entire yard, fertilizer, and then I'll have 2 sections that we will core aerate and overseed, and then I'll have 2 sections that will get a pre-emergent on it. The reason I'm doing that is so I can look at it next spring in 2020. I'm not so much concerned about how it's going to look now or right after I do the aeration seeding. I'm more concerned about what it looks like next year. I'm mainly concerned at the weed population. Anytime you break ground, okay, whether it be in a renovation, aeration, overseeding, or whatever, you take a chance when you expose dirt and you open the ground up, you taking a chance for weed seed to germinate. And with me applying a pre-emergent and not core aerating, we're going to see if it makes a difference next spring. Now the other difference I'm going to be looking for is the thickness and the health of the turf, the non-overseed sections versus the overseed sections. You know, we'll have to look at it next spring and see if one's thicker than the other, one's greener than the other, one looks better than the other. I don't know. This is the first time I've ever done this. So hey, like, subscribe, and share, and tell all your buddies. I'm kind of excited about this, doing this little project, and we'll kind of see how it pans out. I'm curious. I'm just really curious to see what happens. We'll see. All right, check you later.